A big shout out to my new patrons Avery Huxley, John Hamelink, and Marco Kurincic. Also, thanks to all the people who suggested and voted for George Harrison. Remember to let me know in the comments what artist or band you want to see next. George Harrison is probably best known for this.
Here comes the sun.
This.
Don't want to leave her now. You know I believe in how.
And this.
I look at you all, see the lover that's sleeping, while my guitar gently weeps.
But the song that he's probably best known for outside of the Beatles is this.
My sweet Lord, my Lord.
What you just heard is George Harrison's first single as a solo artist. And it wasn't just any single. It was going to the top of the charts all around the world when it was released in 1970 and became the biggest selling single the year after. The idea of making the song came to Harrison after a conversation he had with fellow musicians Billy Preston and Delaney Bramlett. And inspired by his personal beliefs in Hinduism, and especially the massive gospel hit from 1969, Oh Happy Day by the Edwin Hawkins Singers, he sought to create a song that would bridge the gap between religions. But this didn't exactly go as he planned. Let's take a closer look. There's a reason why George Harrison was known as the Quiet Beatle for such a long time. John Lennon and Paul McCartney were two outstanding songwriters and the creative forces behind most of the Beatles songs. But as time went on, Harrison became more mature as a songwriter. So when Paul and John were still reluctant to having more than 2 or 3 Harrison songs on their albums, it's easy to understand that Harrison lost his patience with the other members. When the band secretly broke up in September of '69, Harrison wanted to explore rootsier, less ego-driven ways of making music. For a brief time he joined his friend, the Texan gospel soul organist Billy Preston, who was a part of the blue-eyed soul and rock and roll group Delaney and Bonnie and Friends. Harrison, who was interested in exploring the roots of soul music, got into a conversation with Preston and Bramlett one night when the group was playing in Copenhagen. Something about the conversation got him thinking, if you were going to write a gospel song, how would you do it? Now, this wasn't Harrison's first time writing a gospel song though. He had previously made songs like Hear Me Lord alongside projects with the Beatles and Preston that were linked to religion as well. What was different with this song was that he wanted to fuse Christian and Hinduistic faiths in the lyrics, and he wanted it to be a hit. According to Harrison, the first musical ideas for My Sweet Lord came to him while the band members were attending a backstage press conference. Harrison ducked out and found a room upstairs at the theater where they performed. With his guitar, he started vamping a few chords and alternated between singing Hallelujah and Hare Krishna. He later on introduced the song to Delaney and Bonnie and the rest of the band, and together they developed the chorus vocals. There are different interpretations of how the song was made though. In bandleader Delaney Bramlett's version of the story, Harrison came to him asking for advice on how to write a proper gospel song. Delaney accordingly came up with the words "Oh my Lord" by scat singing, while his wife, Bonnie, and singer Rita Coolidge added gospel hallelujahs in reply. While further developing the song, he took a lot of inspiration from the Edwin Hawkins Singers.
Oh yeah.
And their song, Oh Happy Day, was actually a rendition of a Christian hymn from the 18th century. Now, the most obvious similarity between the Edgar Hawkins Singers song and Harrison's song is found in the lead and backing vocals that call and response back and forth. This call and response formula was first found in African music, and it was specifically designed to achieve an altered state of consciousness we sometimes refer to as trance. And the goal of this trance was to strengthen the communal bonds between the people singing. So when Harrison heard Oh Happy Day, maybe he felt like he was a part of something bigger, And the easiest way for him to let other people feel the same way would be to include the same call and response formula in his singing. But what's even more interesting than the structure of the melody is the subject matter. During the verses, he calls directly to God, referring to him as "my Lord," and states his desire to have a direct relationship with him or her.
I really wanna see you. Really wanna be with you. Really wanna see you, Lord, but it takes so long, my Lord.
As you can see, he seems a bit impatient to establish this deeper relationship. After a couple of verses, he comes to the chorus, where the choral singing comes in. The choir repeats the Hebrew word of praise, hallelujah, used in the Christian and Jewish religions.
My sweet Lord, hallelujah, my Lord, hallelujah, my sweet Lord.
Then, after an instrumental break, the chorus and the choir returns, but instead of singing hallelujah, they now chant the first 12 words of the Maha mantra, which is used in the Vaishnavistic tradition of Hinduism.
My Lord, my Lord, my sweet Lord.
In his 1980 biography, I, Me, Mine, Harrison explained that his intention with alternating between Hallelujah and Hare Krishna was to convince people that the two expressions meant the exact same thing. He also wanted listeners to chant the mantra before they knew what it was all about. In that sense, it literally wouldn't make a difference. Now, what needs to be said here is that Harrison was never officially a part of any religious group. In the mid-60s, he did develop a fascination with Indian culture and mysticism. He went to India several times to learn how to play the sitar and to meditate, and ultimately became very devoted to Hinduistic religious traditions. But despite being so devoted, he remarked that all religions are branches of one big tree. It doesn't matter what you call him, just as long as you call. Now, after creating the bass for his new song, he still felt reluctant to record it, and it's easy to see why. The song had a very overt religious message that could be negatively received by the masses. And to put it into even more context, this was the time when he was writing All Things Must Pass, the first album he released after being a part of the Beatles. Virtually every Beatles fan had their eyes on him during this period, so it was crucial for him to get a good start on his new career path. In his biography, he said, "I was sticking my head out on the chopping block because now I would have to live up to something." About the recordings, we know for a fact that Harrison was joined by Phil Spector as producer and Billy Preston, Eric Clapton, Ringo Starr, Jim Gordon, and all the members of Badfinger to record the track. But there may have been many more people involved that were never credited, as the album project was a huge endeavor. In the beginning, you can hear some acoustic guitars accompanied by the Indian sitar. This is followed by a quick wave of electric piano and Harrison's iconic slide guitar. At 44 seconds in, we get another wave of electronic piano, and at this point, there's another instrument being added, the harmonium, giving off a sound that lingers gently in the background of the acoustic chords and Harrison's longing words. 1 minute and 25 seconds in, the choral chanting starts, and as you can see, the song gently builds in terms of energy and sound. The drums doesn't fade in until 1 minute and 45 seconds in. The vocals also become more powerful here, and the rhythm builds an even stronger frame around the song. Around this point, we also experience a big chord change, making the song even more grandiose and positive. Around 2 minutes and 24 seconds into the song, you can hear woodwinds and string arrangements more clear in the background, and the song keeps on building from here. It's quite hard to separate one instrument from another, since Phil Spector used his famous wall of sound technique while recording this. It involves a large array of instruments playing more or less the same notes and chords. They would also record several tracks of the same instrument, And as a result of using this recording technique, they actually got a much more richer and orchestral sounding sound. Now, the song was for the most part received with open arms by the public. Despite of Harrison's fear of being criticized by the subject matter, people really didn't care because it was such a solid song sonically. Writer Ian Inglis highlighted the song's combination of Harrison's evident lack of artifice and Spector's excellent production, and how, because of their combined mastery, the song can be heard as a prayer, a love song, an anthem, a contemporary gospel track, or a piece of perfect pop. But the reason why I said that the song was welcomed with open arms for the most part was because some people found it very similar to He's So Fine, another song by the Chiffons.
He's so fine. Wish she were mine. That handsome boy over there. My sweet Lord. My Lord.
Several music journalists from big publications like NMA and Rolling Stone wrote about how the songs were quite similar. And so within 2 months after the song's release, US music publisher BrightTunes had served a writ on Harrison, citing unauthorized copyright infringement. The plagiarism suit created a reputation and became a huge part of every conversation about the song. Rarely you would hear people talking about the song without referencing He's So Fine. Harrison himself had several times said that he wasn't aware of the similarity before the press started noticing it. On Harrison's behalf, manager Alan Klein entered into negotiations with BrightTunes to resolve the issue by offering to buy the financially ailing publisher's entire catalog. But no settlement could be reached before the company was forced into receivership. After going through the case in September of '76, the court concluded with the fact that Harrison had subconsciously copied He's So Fine, since he admitted to being aware of it from before. Harrison would have to pay ABKCO, the company that owned the rights to the song at that time, $587,000 for the damages. But listen to this, the entire case that had started on February 10th, 1971 didn't end until March 1998, making it one of the longest running legal battles to ever be litigated in the US. Now, I think it's fair to say that, despite of having to deal with legal battles and criticism from the music press, the song was a great hit with unique features, and it definitely helped a lot of people becoming more open-minded about other religions. So to this day, I think it's a great example of the songwriting genius of George Harrison. I want to thank you guys for watching this video, and also a huge shout out again to my patrons. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to run this YouTube channel. Now, if you want to become a patron as well, make sure you click this button right here. By becoming a patron, you actually gain access to so many awesome perks. You get to request future videos, you gain early access to my videos way before they're uploaded on this channel, and so much more. So make sure you check it out, and I'll talk to you soon, all right? Take care. Bye.